I had loads of questions and comments asking, where's the Brompton? What's happened to the Brompton? When are you going to go bike packing with the Brompton? So as you can see, I've still got it, but up until yesterday I hadn't ridden this in 9 months. I tried making this video yesterday. Let me show you the little bit of footage that I got. I'm not sure I can remember how you do this. It's been a while. 9 months in fact. Here we go. Almost perfect. So I've had quite a lot of comments and questions asking where's the Brompton, and there's quite a serious reason why I've not been out in it. So safety first, we'll get on the bike and I'll explain. It's a little bit bumpier than I was hoping for. I've come to Rother Valley, which is sort of on the border between Rotherham and Sheffield, and it's my first time pedalling since September last year. Whoa! I've never ridden a bike here before. It's not the ideal terrain actually. I just got round the corner after that little bit of footage you've just seen, and I'd got stuck in one of the higher gears and tried pedalling, and I felt a twinge in my quad muscle. So I had to play it safe. I've not done any more serious damage or anything like that, but I felt it, so it's too soon I think for riding the bike. I should have carried on filming yesterday, but I got a little bit mardy and frustrated that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. Threw my toys out the pram and came home. It's so frustrating when you've got an injury and you think you're ready but you're not. So no harm done. I just need to be a little bit more patient. But that was yesterday. Why has this been gathering dust for the last 9 months? So when I bought this, the plan was to do some multi-day long distance bike packing, and I went for the Brompton. I know it's not the most ideal bike for backpacking, but I went for that so I could take it on public transport, no bother at all, on a bus, on a train, just fold it up, carry it with me, and then cycle to wherever I needed to cycle. But before then I hadn't done any cycling for years, so I was just getting out on short little bike rides here and there just to build my strength up a little bit. And then one day me and Joe were having a game of pool in the pub, and we got that phone call that nobody wants to receive. Joe's sister phoned her up and said Richard's been knocked off his bike, can you sort the girls out for us? Luckily Joe hadn't had a drink and we sprinted home. She went off to sort the girls, and at the time we didn't really know anything about what would happen other than he's been knocked off his bike on his way home from work. But within a couple of hours we started to get a little bit more information. Richard was riding his bike home like he does every day, and somebody cut across. He had right of way going down a road and someone wanted to turn right, and they obviously didn't see him. And I've actually seen the video of it and it is horrendous. The car pulls out, Richard hits the side of the car, where the bonnet is, goes into the windscreen, smashes it right over the top of the car. And he was doing around 20-25 mile an hour on his racer. New bike he'd just spent a couple of £1,000 on. And yeah, his injuries were really severe. So he fractured 3 vertebrae in his spine, totally shattered his foot. So, he spent several days in hospital, neck brace on. He had to have operations to have his foot rebuilt. It's like putting a 1,000-piece jigsaw together, according to the surgeon. And he's got a metal plate in his foot. Yeah, and he's still not right. He had to sleep downstairs at home when he could finally get home. Yeah, it was life-changing for him. However, he felt lucky to be alive. He felt lucky that he can now walk again. Fortunately, someone stopped at the scene who was a doctor on his way to work. I think it was a doctor on his way to work at the hospital. The ambulance came, took him away, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously Joe says his bike snapped in half, and I think that itself absorbs some of the impact. When you look at the windscreen where he's hit it, if he's another few inches to the side, he hits the metal post with his head. It's minute fractions between life and death. Obviously at this point Joe says, "You're not going out on your bike." I didn't want to go on my bike either. I'd been thinking about how carefree I'd been on my bike as I've been riding around. I had a helmet on, didn't always wear gloves, didn't always have high-vis clothing on, and there's times where I'm doing 30 mile an hour going down a hill, and I felt in control myself. I felt that I was well within my capabilities of riding the bike, but you're not in control of what other people are doing. You're not in control of somebody pulling out who doesn't see you. You're not in control of a dog or a cat or a pheasant running out in the middle of the road. And then in the blink of an eye, you could be gone. And I'm not saying that, I've never want to ride a bike again, but for a long time, it really shook everybody up in the family. So yesterday I thought it was time to get back on the saddle. Somewhere flat, obviously, because I didn't want to do anything really strenuous. But it wasn't to be. Every time you turn the news on or look in the newspaper, you see tragic accidents that have happened, and you sympathise, but it just seems so far away from the things that you do. But when it's so close to home, when it's someone in your family or even yourself, you start to look at life a little bit differently. I think it's changed my thoughts when it comes to risk. The things that I thought that I was really comfortable doing before, that I don't feel as comfortable anymore. You're looking for what could go wrong, and I suppose that's a good thing. But it's changed the way that I do things now. I love jumping about on rocks still, but I don't do it now how I did a few years ago. Definitely not since last year. And then what happened in April with my knee, I didn't even fall, I just slipped and jarred. And the amount of times I've been on cliff edges and stuff like that, if you get it wrong there, you're toast, aren't you? Just got back home and looked at the footage, and I've realised I've not given you an update on Richard. So it's been 8 or 9 months since his accident. For the last few months he's been fine. He can walk, he can drive, he can do all the things nearly that he used to do. He does have moments where his back still hurts and his foot swells up and things like that, but overall he's loving life. And hopefully he'll be back on his bike again soon. So I learned a couple of things yesterday. First one, don't try and pedal before you can walk. Don't rush things if you're struggling a little bit with your injury. The bike itself, it's the first time I've ridden it at all on any sort of more coarse gravel, and it was horrible. Every time I've ridden it on the road, I've enjoyed it. It's, you do feel a little bumps here and there, but it's not bad on tarmac and concrete. But on gravel, terrible. I don't know if it's because I had the tyre pressure's too high, although you're supposed to, these are at 100 psi, which is what it's supposed to be, but I might need to let some air out when it comes to gravelly kind of stuff. People told me at the time when I bought it, you've got the wrong bike for bikepacking. Maybe they've got a point, but I wanted something that can fold to nothing. I can carry it on a bus. You can't do that with a mountain bike or a gravel bike. I've seen recently, was it last year, they've brought out the Gline Brompton, which apparently is so much better to ride. It's got 20-inch wheels, fatter tyres, slightly different geometry. It's a bit heavier and packs a little bit bigger, but basically the same bike, but much more suitable for gravelly trails anyway. I have seen where people are doing stunts and stuff on them. Anyway, that's my little Brompton update. Still got it, I've still got plans for it, but they're still on hold for a little bit till I can ride properly again.